Hello, hello. Today is December 28th, 2020. As the year winds down, we have a treat. Norm Winski is with us again. He has all kinds of exciting things to inform us about. And Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thanks for having me on, and happy holidays and happy New Year to everybody. Okay, when I was last on your show, Jeff, was December 11th. I gave you these times and these markets to watch at these times. We look for the markets to get to the extreme, indicated market to get an extreme in that window. If they're going sideways, we do nothing. It's Newton's law. For reaction, there's an opposite reaction. I'm going to review what happened from the forecast I gave you back on the 11th. So the 11th was a Friday. The following Monday morning, we had a new moon solar eclipse. And anytime we have a new moon or full moon, I like to say we round up the usual suspects, which are your financials, grains, and precious metals. And we'll be looking at those in a minute. Then we also, the night of the 15th, that's AC after the close, we had Mercury aphelion. Aphelion is from Greek. For Helios is sun, and anytime you have Helios or anything like that, with an A in front of it, that means afar. And if you have para, that's close. The planets go around the sun elliptically, and so it's not a circle, so there's a point where they're the farthest and they're the nearest. So that's Mercury got to its farthest point there that night, and so because it's related to the sun, we also look at the solar markets, which are the golden markets or sunny markets, which are corn, gold, and OJ. And then your Mercury is your grains, corn, soybeans, and wheat. That's the markets we'll be looking at. And then we had a really big thing happen in the following days. In fact, building up to huge, when we had Saturn by geocenter. That means from the point of view of the Earth, enter the sign Aquarius. It only did that 29 and a half years ago. And so that was really big. And the main thing we'll be looking at, number one thing is copper, because Aquarius is, I believe, related to copper. And then we also have the secondary markets, which are related because harmonics. Aquarius is 90 degrees to Taurus, the bull, for example, which is cattle, or Scorpio, which is cocoa, and so forth. That's how that works. Corn is Leo, and so that's 180 degrees. And so these are all markets that are related to a sign that are key angles to the sign of Aquarius. On the night of the afternoon of the 17th, we had Saturn line up to where Mars was on July the 4th, 1776, when I believe our country was founded. And so that's important for our U.S. financials. And then we also, the weekend of the 18th, we had Jupiter right on the heels of Saturn, also enter Aquarius. And then we had many of the same markets that we did for the Saturn back here on the 16th. Night of the 16th, and then you might have heard in the news and the media that Jupiter lined up with Saturn, and that on Monday afternoon, and that's a really huge deal because that only occurs every 19 and a half years, and last time it happened in Aquarius was over 600 years ago, and last time it happened where you were starting with the 240-year cycle within the 800-year cycle, where it first entered Aquarius. That was back in 1226, so that's like almost 800 years ago. So there we go. So we look at these markets. Here's the cattle, as I mentioned. We had the Saturn went into Aquarius. That was a miss, but then we were close to the top there on a short-term top there on the cattle when Saturn went into Aquarius. When Jupiter went into Aquarius. Over the weekend of the 18th. Cocoa did pretty much the same thing, but upside down, headed for the lows, where cattle headed for the highs. The earlier one, the Saturn one, was a miss, but the Jupiter one was right on at the bottom there. A beautiful turn there. Coffee, we hit 2 out of 2. There's your top there with the coffee, and there the Jupiter conjunct Saturn. That's Saturn. Coffee is a Saturn market. And Saturn changed signs, so we look for change in trend. And then Jupiter lined up with Saturn on the 21st, and that was a low day. There you go. Here's copper was my featured number one market to watch. And Saturn went into Aquarius. That was a day or two early. But when we got over here to where the Jupiter went, the Aquarius and Jupiter lined up. Well, Saturn, that was the top day, and this was a huge, big move in copper. Every penny, this is near $3.65, and every penny in copper on a copper contract is worth $250, and it dropped 18 cents in 3 days. That's $4,500 in about 3 days. So that's some big money in a very short amount of time. So there we go. Here's corn. If it's going sideways, we do nothing. That's what corn was doing. You can see it's pretty much sideways. We did have a possible signal over here, and that was a miss. Here's your cotton. Did nicely. We had a triple top here on the cotton. We were on the first day and the last day of the triple top, and so there we go. It caught a nice short-term top in the cotton with 2 different signals. Here's your gold. The earlier one was Saturn went into Aquarius. Aquarius again is 180 degrees from Leo, and that was so we're looking at that then. And over here we had Jupiter entering Aquarius, and that was the high day in gold. Oh, we have this guy over here too. Oh, yeah, the new moon solar eclipse was a nice low there. Here's your hogs. It's Aquarius at 90 degrees to Scorpio. That's hogs. And there you made a nice sharp top, and then we caught that nice bottom here, and that worked out nicely. And OJ was very good. Nobody trades the OJ, but it dances to the plants nicely. And there you go. You got those points there, and you can hopefully you took a screenshot earlier, and let me know if you need help with the notes. I can send you the notes, whatever you like. Here's the silver going sideways, and so we did nothing on the silver for the new moon, the eclipse. Here's your beans going sideways again, and then we had a possible signal there, but that was a miss. Here's your S&P. Did very nicely. We made a rally into the new, eclipse on Monday morning, made a top, had a sharp down, and we went back up and made these series one day early on the top there, and then we caught the top day on the 17th. With our points there, with the U.S. natal, and also another point there we had. And then the low day was Jupiter conjunct Saturn on the 21st. And here's your sugar. We had the Jupiter, the Saturn go into Aquarius there. That's a 120 to Libra, which is sugar. And then we had that, which is the Jupiter into Aquarius on the 21st. Over the weekend, the 18th, in the morning, 21st, and that worked out nicely too. Notice this is very simple. I don't have any oscillators. No oscillators, no moving averages. I occasionally use trend lines, channels. That's about it. And you don't have to forecast the net prices. Just wait till you get to the right time. The right time will give you the right price. So there you go. Here's your bonds making a top on the solar eclipse. They're made a low there on our U.S. point there, and we had another point there. And then you had, Jupiter, that was Saturn going to Aquarius also, and Jupiter going to Aquarius there, and that was a nice short-term low there in the T-bonds. Here's the currencies, sometimes dance to the moon, but they were going sideways there, like the dollar. But the dollar did respond to our U.S. point there, and that was the low day of the month. Here's your British pound. It did make a low there near the moon, a day early. And so there you go. The other currencies all were going sideways, so no point even looking at those. All right, here's your score. We had 29 winners, 6 misses out of 35 for 82.82%. Here's what's coming. Tomorrow night, we have Jupiter to the U.S. Venus. There's your U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. And we also have a full moon, so you know what to do there. You saw how it worked before. You got your financials, your grains, your precious metals. And because it'll be in the sign of Cancer, potentially it could be very important for silver. And then the New Year's weekend, we have a moderate, small thing indicated for copper, oil, and stocks. Here's something I showed on your show on the 11th, Jeff. This chart, which I drew this blue line for the month of December, starting on the 30th of November through the 31st. Had this blue line drawn in advance back in November. A projection for possible track for the S&P 500, and we were back here when I was on your show. Think about here. I had this updated. The black bars, the S&P 500 10-minute bars, and I overlay these as we go. And this is as of Thursday's close. I didn't have time to update it today. If we update it today, you'd be probably up about 3.5 boxes up, about right there. Right there. So it's going up though, as indicated. And there we go. And here's how to get a hold of me. Let's see. I'm in Naples, Florida at 239-594-3939. There's my email. And Winski Bark with a Q, mail.com, or you can Skype me at Winski_1. Happy holidays, happy New Year, everybody. Looking forward to helping you folks. The sooner you get a hold of me, the sooner we can get you going there, maybe for January. Oh, January's going to be, I'm working on January now. It looks like it's going to be huge. We're going to have big volatility in January, I think, Jeff.
Well, I'm kind of excited to see what happens because today it was so boring I couldn't stand it.
There were times during the day, it was like watching paint dry.
Yeah, it was, I said the market was so flat I could slide it under the door. Anyway, thanks very much, Norm. It's great as always. You're consistent at 80% plus month after month, and there aren't very many people who have a track record like that. Norm, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.